Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here in Stockholm. It's our first time in this magnificent city, so it really is quite special for us. My name's James Reed. I'm the Managing Director of Network Centre. Prior to my role as Managing Director, I was the Group Sales Director at Network Centre for over 8 years. Before that, I was a Global Strategic Account Manager with a company called Panduit, who are a US manufacturer.
Hi, I'm Duncan Lindsay. I'm the Vice President of Network Centre Group and Alcadon UK. Prior to the current position, I was Managing Director of Network Centre Group for 17 years, having founded the company in 2005.
So, who are Network Centre? Network Centre are a market-leading distributor of network infrastructures from the UK and also the Netherlands. We are a significant player in both the structured cabling and the data centre market. But in the last few years, we've also shown that we're a major provider to the broadband and the FTTX market. So over the last 5 years, you can see we've had a compound annual growth rate of 18.4%. And we're a very stable business, with 50% of our customers representing 75% of our turnover. And we have many customers, over 1,500 customers spending per year in the UK. And these customers, many of them have been loyal to Network Centre for years. Last year, we had a very good year in terms of we grew by 20%. And Duncan, did you want to take us through some numbers?
Our operating margins today are around 6.6% and have increased as we have grown. We'll be able to achieve strong operating margins over time, leveraging on our growing business. As we're growing at a very good rate and have done so for quite some time, we do tie up some capital, and I would expect this to continue going forward, even though we will improve on this to some extent in the short to mid-term.
So, if you look at our customer segments here, 94% of our sales come from 3 main areas. And these 3 pillars are structured cabling, FTTX, which includes broadband sales, and also the data centre. The other segment you can see here, 6% reseller, that is sales to other distributors and wholesalers within the market. So, the situation today in terms of Network Centre sales. So, the UK broadband and gigabit programme in the UK is increasing rapidly. And as a result, our sales are growing exponentially. We're actually getting new operators coming to us on a monthly basis asking for pricing on projects. But it's not just the broadband segment that's growing in the UK for Network Centre. We're getting an increased spend from co-location data centres and contractors and integrators within the market. These contractors and integrators work within the enterprise data centre space and also the edge data centre space. So as a whole, data centre is very, very strong for us. We have also, in the structured cabling segment, won some significant projects in the City of London in the finance sector over the last 12 months. And we've got a very strong outlook in terms of that part of the market. Also, structured cabling sales across the board. So if you look at our mid-market size, installers and the companies they work with, that is now stabilising after a tough pandemic period. So, as covered in slide 1, the aggressive fibre to the premises, or FTTX, broadband market in the UK is growing at a very high pace. And as a result, we've seen a huge spike in the demand for fibre optic products. And the operators are looking to get their customers connected faster. And because of this, they're coming to us for innovation, for ideas, for new products, new solutions, new supply chain methods. So it's a really interesting time in that market. And again, data centre, we're seeing the cloud providers, because of their expansion, they're going into the co-location facilities, needing more space. And then when we look at the structured cabling element within the building, the new technologies are really driving the demand for base level infrastructure, the Internet of Things, the smart buildings. Again, this is another very interesting market for Network Centre. So, the competition in the UK market, there are three large multinational wholesalers, but they tend to sell a different range of products to Network Centre. Then there's small local distributors who are less strategic, owner-managed businesses, and they tend to be more reactive rather than proactive. And then we're seeing new-to-market FTTX resellers. Now, these tend to be fibre specialists, but they don't hold stock, so they rely on Network Centre to be able to fulfil their orders. And then we do see manufacturers in the UK, but they don't offer a full end-to-end portfolio like we do. Now, initiatives going forward. Now, our number one initiative going forward is to increase our wallet share with our customer base. And now being part of the Alcadon group, it really gives us access to more products and more services. So this is a really interesting opportunity for us. And then the other very interesting opportunity that we see is fixed-term contracts with some of our larger customers. So, and this type of contract is where they commit to us as a supplier and we commit some service level agreements to them over a fixed term. Last year, the internet service provider Truly, we signed a 3-year deal worth 11.6 million with Truly. And I have to say, that has been hugely successful, and it's really as a template moving forward. Another initiative is our improved online platform. So over the last 12 months, we have relaunched our corporate sites, and we've seen lots more inquiries coming through the web because of that. But we are also looking at launching 4 e-commerce sites within the next few months, and this should give us additional revenue streams. So, Duncan, did you want to take us through our improved footprint in the Benelux region?
Yeah, we've been trading just over 1 year in the Benelux region, which is a really interesting market for us. We've made significant steps to gain market share. You know, we're building a robust pipeline in a new territory, and already in year 2, the sales have significantly exceeded year 1. You know, this coupled with the UK business that the Dutch office is facilitating, you know, has made it a very strong business. And together with Alcadon's footprint in Belgium, we're able to strengthen the Benelux profile even further.
So if we look at our market growth here, so structured cabling is expected to grow in the UK market 4 to 7% a year. But that could be even higher due to the post-pandemic recovery. We can testify for this growth here, 14 to 21%. The data center market, as I said earlier, has been really strong for Network Centre, and we see a very positive future on that side of things. But the biggest opportunity is in the fibre to the home broadband market. And that figure there doesn't even include the 5G rollouts. So it's one of the largest markets in Europe for FTTH and broadband, and with 5G as well, we believe that could be a very, very successful market.
Yeah, so to summarise, we have a really strong position in the market and a long history within network infrastructure. With a market outlook that looks really good, we'll be able to enjoy very strong growth and development going forward. And working with Alcadon will only increase our competitiveness and our European footprint even further. I'll now hand you over to Magnus, who will go through Sweden. Thank you.
Okay, hi everybody, both in the room and also on the web. My name is Magnus Larsson, and I am the COO of Alcadon Sweden, thus responsible for the operations. Just short about my background. Until recently, I was the sales director of Alcadon. I have long experience in managerial roles, primarily in sales. both in small companies but also in very large companies. For example, Siemens, from where I came before Alcadon. I've also been working as a sales management consultant. I will talk a bit about the current situation of Alcadon in Sweden, but also give you a glimpse on how we see development the coming 3 years. As mentioned, Alcadon has been a leading player on the Swedish market for commercial networks since the start in the late 80s, through the launch of our own brand ECS in mid-90s. But I just want to add that according to a recent independent marketing survey done just before this summer, we can proudly today say that we are the actual number one. We operate in 4 different business areas, where the largest is commercial network, representing almost 50% of the turnover. This is mainly data center, but also structured cabling for all types of premises. Fiber network, or FTTX, accounts for 30% of the business. And our newest business area, residential network, accounts for 16%. And this business area came through the acquisition of Data Connect in 2017. It also led to the launch of our own brand DC Line. The 4th business area, services and training, accounts for 5%. It's the smallest business area, but one of the most important, and I will get back to that within a minute. We have 49 employees spread over 4 regions. And these regions, they operate under a great deal of own responsibility due to the circumstances in each geographic. Of course, within the framework of Alcadon's overall strategies and goals, and with full access and support from our central team and competence within technical support, product development, purchasing, marketing, and so on. And it gives us an entrepreneurial spirit that has always been and still is one of Alcadon's strengths. It makes us very solution-oriented, flexible, and I always don't dare to say actually agile. Today we have 2,000 active, loyal customers. Many of the customers has been with us for many, many years, and the amount of customers are increasing year by year. This is backed up by the latest NPS score, where we reached 56% in Sweden, which is really, really good. I would say that 80% of the customer base are installers, mainly working as subcontractors. 20% of the customer base are end customers. And we work with all kind of installers, from very large national companies such as Bravida, Assembly, Caverion, Instalco, and so on, but also mid-sized, more regional companies, down to very small local installation companies. So we cover the whole spectrum. Where does the money come from? I would say that 30% of the customer accounts for 80% of the turnover, and this is really good for us. It means that we are not dependent on one or a few large customers to receive our goals. It also means, and this is also very interesting, that we have a huge number of customers, active customers, buying very little from us today. So here we have a huge potential, and I will get back to that within a minute. As mentioned, we have own products. Those represents 37% of the business in Sweden. In addition, we have cooperations with world-leading manufacturers, and this gives us a mix in the product portfolio that's not only competitive, but also profitable. Talking about profitable, I wait with that. Today we work with 200 suppliers, almost 209 suppliers. And I know that the school book says, oh, you should slimline and you should not work with too many suppliers. But for us, it's a real strength. And the last 2 years, it has been a real advantage for us that we had access to different alternatives when needed. So we're quite happy about this cooperation. Some numbers. We have seen a positive development on net sales the past years with a CAGR of 6.4%. In year 21, we reached a net sales of 324 million SEK. Somewhere from 19, due to Sonny taking over as CEO, we have focused on streamlining the organization and improvement of the logistics. As a consequence, we have seen improvement in EBITDA within a range from 6.6% to 13.1%. From 2020, when I came on board, we have gradually been able to refocus on growth. Mainly through increased sales efficiency, but also in specific segment investments. And to highlight one successful investment we made was data center, where we in year 20 reached a growth of 40%, and the year after 26%. And this is, of course, a huge success. And it really shows that with focused effort, we can really create growth. Talking about growth, back to the profitability, it's profitable growth. We, of course, always focus on capital tied up, cash flow. In year 21, we had an EBITDA over net working capital of 90%. Thus, we tie up very little capital. We have been focused on cash flow, still are, favorable payment terms, high inventory turnover. That combination really makes a difference. I think everybody here knows that drill. I think that was a bit about the current situation. Let's take a look on the future, starting with the market. If we take fiber network, or FTTX, we have seen a somewhat negative development from year 18 to 20, mostly due to some large players amongst our customers expanding really strongly. And when they realized that the permit process took much longer than expected, the cost for deployment of fiber outside of the cities, I mean on the countryside, was much higher than expected. It kind of damped the speed of expansion. But very important to know, the Swedish government has a goal, still aiming for it, that everybody in Sweden should have access to broadband with a capacity of 100 megabit per sec. Today, 650,000 households still don't have that. So there is still a lot to do. It is said that it would need approximately 22 billion in government support, in addition to commercial investments, to reach the goal. And yeah, the government has also increased the grants. I mean, from year 20, it was 136 million SEK. The year after, it was 1.6 billion SEK. And in year 22, where we are now, it was 1.3 billion. But as you hear, a lot of more grants to come. Myself and the team, we honestly don't believe that we will reach the goal in 2025 in Sweden, but we will in a very nearby future. So overall, we see a more mature market, steady growth, and a lot of investments to replace and expand the data transport capacity. Over to commercial network or structured cabling. Here we see a clear recovery after a couple of weaker years. As a clear consequence of the pandemic, I mean, we have been talking about it here today, people working from home, shutdowns of certain industries, restrictions. It all together put some of the investments on hold, I would say. Now we see expected growth rates from 3 to 7%. lower in some segments like office buildings, but higher in others like healthcare, for example. Much higher growth are expected from data center. We see numbers from 10 to 25%, mostly within co-location and enterprise solutions where we are represented. Of course, it's driven by one of our time's largest mega trends. You all know about it, the digital society, or IoT, with its constant need for increased capacity, both to store and transport data. I would say something briefly about residential networks. We have seen quite stable growth the last years, and no surprise about that. Everybody knows that the underlying need for a new housing is much higher than what is actually being produced. Now the industry fears a bit of a setback as a clear consequence to the raised cost to build, the construction costs. But we have to be very honest here. This business area represents such a small part of our total business. And with a very little market share, the growth rates does not really affect us. I would say a few words about the competition. We see a quite fragmented landscape, a number of very large international wholesalers, and many relatively small niche distributors. And the position of Alcadon, I would say, are more of a niche distributor, but with some major differences. We do have our own developed market-leading solutions within our brands. At the same time, we have a broad, flexible, very market-adapted portfolio. We also have well-developed warehouse and logistic functions. And one more important thing, and I'm getting back to this small fourth business area, we do provide our customers with technical support and advice, education, actual training, and certifications, I would say like no one else. And that makes us quite different from a common box mover. And this is, of course, something that we have been able to really leverage on, which is good. So how do we see growth going forward? More important, we do have a clear set of growth initiatives. I will mention just a couple of them today, but the first one is increasing sales capacity, both geographically. We are now moving into geographics where we today have none or very little market activities. We also are increasing the sales representatives in the organization, and these two things together gives us the possibility not only to increase sales to our existing large customers, but also cross-sell, upsell to this large number of customers buying very little from us today, not to mention new customers coming in. So here we have a huge potential just still waiting for us. Another initiative is expanding the product portfolio. Of course, we will continue to invest in solutions for data center, but also new investments in a couple of other areas like telecom and security. And all of these three areas are expected to have high growth and also high profitability. And they are all within our competence. So it really makes sense. We strongly believe that we stand on a solid ground for growth, and we are expecting annual growth above 10% with improved operating margins. So we have some really interesting years ahead of us. Keep having at least one eye on us, and I hope to see you all soon. That was all from me. Thanks. I will leave the stage for my colleague, Susanna.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm guess done with the introduction of myself. We have been there. Yeah, Denmark, I've been part of the company 20 years in May. We're seeing a solid and expanding FTTH base. We've had significant growth over especially the past 5 years, grown from being a very niche-oriented supplier with a great focus into the FTTH industry. And today we see the diversity of having a much wider product program in Denmark. Not only sales has increased, we have actually also increased our margins, and today we see that more than a quarter of our sales comes from branded products and assembled products from our production. We operate in 4 different market segments, and remember 3-4 years ago we were an FTTH company supplying the whole Danish market with FTTH solutions. Our market segments are still strong in FTTX. We are strong in structured cabling. We are building on a very strong platform in the data center industry. And the last leg is the industry in itself. And when I talk about that industry, it's an offshore industry for us. That's in great focus, and it is a windmill industry. Super important. It's really exciting to see the diversity of the company expand, and also the product offering, getting on board new products that is needed to grow the other market segments. I'll start by talking about FTTX market. We are a very, very strong and market leader, I would say, still into the FTTX industry. We are not only suppliers of the logistic function, and when I say that, then it is delivering very large quantities of product programs that comes into our warehouse and in bulk is passed on to the customer when needed. We have, for all of the fiber to the home users, a strong leg into designing pre-assembled and configured products. I could call them plug-and-play products. So it's really designing products together with the large vendors and the customer itself, and it would typically be a product portfolio for the customer. Just recently we have been through a huge redesign of products into one of our very, very large customers. Focus is competences and deliveries from A to Z of complete solutions, and it still is. We have over the years carried some very, very large contracts in the industry. We're grateful for this part. We still have very large contracts, not only on logistic, but for all of the customers on assembled solutions. Structured cabling is a promising but also a new product area for us. We have applied new sales channels in Denmark, and we've been proven successful also in the ramp-up process. We have over the past 3 years had data center specialists working for us in-house in the Danish market. People who are coming from the industry, who has worked there 25 years, who knows the co-locations, they know the product range, and they know how to build and help the customer. The next steps are taken into not only focuses on the co-locations, which are super important for us, but also in the layer just beneath, which is the enterprise market of alike products, also very, very important. The fourth leg is the industrial market. The industrial market it's important because it's very, very large key account customers. It's customers who would work either offshore, or it's the windmill industry, it could also be other industries. And I wouldn't say we are copying, but we have adapted the product range we see in the FTTX connectivity business into this industry. And here we actually go one step further. We don't only pre-configure the products, we deliver them on-site also to large export markets, but the key account customers would typically be Danish. Additionally, we offer documentation that can follow the products, so the end customer always knows that whatever we are delivering, it's tested, approved, and it's documented. To sum up, in Denmark, we expect continuous growth over and an expansion in the mentioned areas as we've just been through. And I wouldn't say we have a fifth leg, but in a way we do, because we are very, very strong in plug-and-play solutions. So one of the areas we are going to work on onwards is actually taking our plug-and-play products and adapting them into all our other markets. That could be Sweden or Norway, but certainly into the German market, into Benelux, and into the UK market. This is really exciting for us because it's something quite unique. I have spoken about our large contracts. Denmark has managed successfully to create new revenue streams. FTTX is a mature market. We have known that the past years, and still we see upgrades of the network. We see operators implementing new technologies, quite important. And even where you see 20 years ago, you started out with some types of fiber optic cables, for instance. Those are right now getting replaced many places because the operators, the market, they need higher bandwidth. So it keeps on going, not only on technologies, but also on exchanging products that were, or replacing products from 20 years ago. The need for data capacity is continuously growing, but we also see the technical upgrades, and all of those elements are important. Additionally, we have 5G, and in the years to come, also 6G. Structured cabling is, as I said, a relatively new market area for us. We have harvested synergies from the Swedish market, enabling us to make a really nice product program. We have gotten heavy resources on board in the Danish market, who knows the market, who knows the customers. And then we have implemented something that, at least for the Danish market, was super important, a very ambitious web shop, which is used by all of the installers. It's been extremely important because it's the way the installer market, they buy products. So even though you win a project in the Danish market, you would need a web shop in order for them to buy there. And they can buy on projects and they can buy daily. It's been flying for the last 3 months, and it is very, very well received. So something we are quite proud of. As for the data center market, we are in a constantly growing market in Denmark, and the data center market over the next many years is going to be interesting and with a huge growth potential. And then additionally, as I said before, we also start looking at the enterprise market. We have actually added over the last year resources in Denmark in order to have an even greater focus into this market than we did in the past. When it comes to the industrial market, I've spoken about this. We not only focus on the assembled products, we are in there with the customers. The next stage is going to be adding more products to the product portfolio, not necessarily only on assembled products, but also on other products from our product line. The competition in Denmark consists of wholesalers mainly. We have 3 of them. They're large, and they're very good box movers and efficient box movers as in other countries. In the structured cabling market, we would see both wholesalers and we would see smaller distributors, so a mix of both. And in the data center market, we would see smaller but very specialized distributors like ourselves, knowledge-based, and actually like Network Center as well. Going forward, we plan for growth. We'll grow the organization in terms of getting the right employees on board. I have a really, really great focus on finding people from the industry who knows what they're talking about, who can help the customers, and this expansion, that will keep on going. We will expand the product portfolio to fit even deeper into the new market segments and into our existing market segment where we are quite large. And we will focus on new revenue streams, which develops according to plan. To sum up, in 2025, we expect to have a strong presence in the data center segment, the structured cabling, the industry, and still in the FTTX market. So all in all, for the Danish market, we are positive on the way we are moving forward. We are holding on to the FTTX market. We are also going through a transition phase of having new market segments, but it is a super exciting future. And we shift now from the Danish market, where I'm CEO, to the German market, where I'm also CEO. Germany is a huge and extremely interesting market for Alcadon. Remember, I'm Danish, come from a country of 6 million people, and I entered into Germany a few years ago. Only around 6%, as we heard from Sonny earlier, of the population has access to FTTX today. And remember, there are over 40 million households in the German market, and I think 83 or 84 million people living in the German market. And the expansion and speed up for bandwidth, I believe that we will see that moving on the next 15, 20 years. It's so substantial. The market is huge. Things do not happen overnight, but we really, really see how it's growing. So that's the growth there. It's not only extremely ambitious for the Germans, and we see waste of millions or more billions of euros being added into the FTTH market over the next years. Consequently, we saw the opportunity, and we started a GmbH back in 2020. The German office was initially started as a copy-paste of the Danish market, thinking of revenue streams and logistic solutions, thinking about understanding the customer, but also thinking about how we could adapting our heavy knowledge and value adding of connectivity-based solutions to the customers. So we were invited to meetings in northern Germany, speaking to operators. We explained our offering to them and how we thought with the customer, not just coming with a product and saying, this is what we have, this is what you can buy, but trying to understand their needs and where we could help them. And they said, this is really interesting. We do not see alike offerings in the German market today. Why don't you start a GmbH? And we did. Entering Germany has really been a true Operation Greenfield. We started with one sales resource in northern Germany, looking at some of the operators there, and also realized that the market is huge, that in order to make the organic growth, we need much more people. Today, we're proud to say we are 7 people working in the German market for the growth. Still a small organization, but a really, really great team. The original focus in Germany was FTTX, FTTH. It still is. We have identified 3 segments that for us is super important. It's sales to huge contractors who are working on behalf of the operators in the German industry. It is direct sales to municipalities, to Stadtwerken, and to operators. And then, of course, it's a tender business, which is a little bit different in Germany from the Danish market, but in areas, this is also important. We have plans for looking into the data center market, and we are actually, as we speak, getting approached from large manufacturers in the data center market, asking whether we want to take on board their product range into the German market. It is an enormous, super interesting market. We need data center specialists to do so. And with the focus we have right now, it's not going to be until 2023, but it will happen. So today we are strongly focusing with the team on one thing, getting a very strong foothold in a market with 84 million people. Meanwhile, we also work with the complexity of plug-and-play products, not making a copy, I've talked about it earlier, but adapting our product range to fit into the German market. And this is happening with a focus on 3 different positions. Being a one-stop shop, A to Z deliveries for large and mid-sized operators. Availability of products from the shelf over the next years, this will be very, very important. And then developing our individual plug-and-play products for the customer to do things in a different way. And yeah, that is, as said, quite well received there. Today, the team focuses on our offering into contractors, into consultancies, into municipalities and Stadtwerken. And there we are offering not only the FTTH solution, we actually also offer the blowing machines, the splicing machines, everything that can connect the whole group of product to the specific customer. Naturally, we invest a lot of time in growing the opportunities for operators such as Deutsche Glasfaser, where we have a framework contract. It is work in progress. All in all, we are very positive about the German market. It's been challenging starting a market and thinking that we could grow it alone organically, but we are confident that with the people we have on board today, we are on the right track and we will grow over the next years. I could say additionally that I trust Germany will, over the next years, become one of the most important markets in Alcadon. Germany. Of course, we will leverage on the large FTTH agreements. A key element when focusing not only on Germany, but the market in general is availability of products. The past 2 years have created a situation where having availability is a real competitive advantage and super, super important. Without products that we can offer to the customers, it's difficult to do the right sales. As such, stock building for the German market at least is a must. However, sourcing is it's challenging. There's a lack in the market of products. So where we in Denmark had fairly few actually vendors working for us in the FTTX market, we see in Germany the necessity to spread out our wings and have multiple vendors in order to be able to supply the large operators. When looking into the market, we are confident that our system approach, working with much more than just logistic solutions, but the finished delivered products, is there to grow. And we will continue to adapt this thought into the market. The competition in Germany is highly fragmented, and it's a competitive landscape. The typical distributor would offer dock solutions, or they would offer cable solutions or connectivity solutions, whereas we think quite different. It's a one-stop shopping, and we need to be able to offer not only the system warranty, but the thought of understanding the complexity of the complete rollout. Going forward, we have a clear focus on growing the organization with highly competent people. This is an ongoing process. It looks positive, and we are very pleased to see that we really get people on board who knows what they're talking about. Additionally, it is no secret we are looking for acquisition targets in the German market to help us getting a strong foothold and more people on the ground. The most important in Germany is the availability of material for the market to follow the growth. So I've talked about it before, but we see that in Germany more than ever. And as I started off saying about Germany, the market potential is huge. We support the vendors in this phase, speaking about which product line would be correct, and we speak to the end customers understanding what is their need. The market in Germany will, over the next years, see an extreme increase in the need of FTTH products. With many of the new smaller operators, Stadtwerken, municipalities, it's actually people who doesn't come from the fiber to the home world. They need us. They need us to develop a system approach together with them to help them understand what is needed in the FTTX world if they want to deploy fiber in that area. And there we see we have a really, really great added value. It is expected over the next years that the German market will have a lack of something really important. It's arms and legs or manpower. Huge rollout, many years to come, extremely ambitious. Where do they get all the technicians to do the rollout for them? And here our strong value added of delivering products where the technicians, they can save time, be efficient, they can use their time on doing what they're really, really, really good at. So this, we believe, is going to be very important. The more we are able to deliver plug-and-play solutions together with the semi-finished products, together with the complete logistic solutions and focus, the more successful we believe we are going to be. To sum up, in Germany, we are expanding the organization. Acquisitions to support the organic growth are there to happen over the next years. We are strongly expanding our product portfolio, and then, of course, still focus on very large agreements, such as Deutsche Glasfaser. The 2025 vision, a fully fledged operation in Germany with a wide variety of customers, complete geographical coverage, and there I don't only speak about northern, southern Germany, but also east and central Germany. It is a huge market. And of course, having a comprehensive data center strategy and presence in the market. In Germany, we are also confident we are looking into a really, really exciting time and years to come. I'm proud to be a part of the German team. And I'll now pass on the stage to you, Einar, my colleague from Norway.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Einar Fragen. I am the CEO of Alcadon in Norway. I've been with Alcadon for approximately 2.5 years. Prior to that, I have worked with export sales from Norway towards Europe, Asia, and the US. Let's start with looking at some key facts for Norway. Currently, we are 19 persons in Norway. We are located in the north, the west, and the central parts of Norway, giving us access to important areas. Also giving us boots on the ground, which is necessary to conduct business. The workforce is a mix of very experienced people with add-ons from different industries. This gives us a bit more flexibility when entering new segments or customers. From our customer base in Norway, 50% of our customers represent 98% of our turnover. These situations make us less dependent on just one large customer. It also conveys our potential to increase our share of wallet with the existing 50%. We are now trying also to convert plans into action to add on more business with those. Alcadon Norway has always had a keen eye on technology and marketing trends. We have added a substantial numbers of suppliers over the years, from niche products to mainstream solutions. This mixes well with our brands, which are locally adapted in Norway. As a larger group, we have always seen synergies across the borders when it comes to customers and common solutions. Good communications internally within the group have set us in a better situation to cover our customers' needs and upcoming customer needs. Currently, we have a strong position in a growing market of commercial networks, and it's also a focus area for us in Norway. And we will also try to spread more geographically across the country. In 2019, Cablecom merged with Alcadon. A new organization was born with a new set of competence. This set the organization in a better position to obtain a larger degree of one-stop shopping. In the beginning, after the merger, the Norwegian market was relying on support from Sweden, especially related to logistics. Since 2020, we have retained more control to become more self-sufficient towards our customer groups. The main focus was our autonomy and being able to do when in Rome, do as Romans. Adapt our solutions to the Norwegian market to a larger degree. Currently, we are now witnessing synergies of this merger kicking in, and we are also harvesting the fruits and becoming more united in Norway, playing as one team. In general, we have a quite strong operating margin that we are satisfied with. Focus going forward is growing while being profitable. In terms of EBITDA over net working capital, we have always shown good numbers, now around 78%, and we aim to maintain this number moving forward. So let's move along to the situation today. We see that we have a customer base made up of, as you heard before from the Swedish market, small and medium-sized installers. But you also have some other large ones as well. As the history has shown us, we will still focus hard on succeeding on structural cabling. But we also added resources towards data centers, as we see this as an interesting opportunity with a growing market. We also stayed true to our commitment to be a strong supplier towards the FTTX projects across the country, where some of the larger operators are loyal customers of ours. We will stay true and focused on these elements of our portfolio. As said, we increased our data center segment, focus on the data center segment. We also added resources and also adding more solutions to cover the upcoming needs as we see in the market. By sharing information with our sister companies across the borders, we are now able to address new areas within the data center segment, which we were not capable in the past. We strongly believe that we will have good tailwind with a strong value proposition. We have also acknowledged the fact that our customer base will change over time. Younger generations will enter the market, and we must be aligned with this change. The buying process will change, and other behavioral tools and instruments will shape the new buying process. Since 2021, we have had a steady focus on how we can meet the new generation and the changes in the general buying process. We are focusing on making it easier for our customers to buy whatever they need from us, relying on solid information on the products and solutions, closing the gaps we had in the past, and suggesting compatible products, etc. The focus is to adapt to how our customer prefers the business process to be conducted. And we are already seeing a lot of progress in this area. So let's move on to the market in Norway. What we have seen in the last few years is a steady growth in the FTTX and the FTTH segments. We expect to have a steady pipeline going forward as major investments are regular in Norway. As Sweden informed you about, we also have the same targets when it comes to connectivity. We also seen some of the effects of the 5G rollouts, but we expect that we will see more of this effect when they start rolling out the 5Gs outside the major cities in Norway. As Norway is blessed with cheap and renewable energy, especially in the north, we see that industries are growing in the north of Norway. Data center business are gaining some momentum as well in this region. What is lacking is backbone infrastructure, which could drive the industry to new heights in this region. As we saw last year, we are gaining ground and moving forward with respect to structured cabling. Today, this is an important part of our business model. And with the new initiatives we have within the Alcadon Group, we expect to drive this even further, adding larger market shares in Norway. So, the competition. I think we have some in Norway as well. As most developed markets, there are both national and international wholesalers present in Norway. We see that some players gain some advantage by having physical locations for distribution purposes at multiple sites across the country. But Alcadon in Norway really competes on logistical capabilities. We have also identified many small and more niche-oriented distributors in the market. They often have extended depth in their portfolio, but not width. They will, in most cases, not be preferred on the larger projects, and where the customers are looking for the scales of economics and having fewer distributors involved. As within the Alcadon Group, we are also concentrating on keeping our distinct advantage towards our customers. Competence, which we spoke about earlier today, is important. It should be a key part of our identity, a feature which will help us, our customers, succeed in our market. So, some initiatives moving forward in the Norwegian landscape. We strongly believe in development, especially development with the people representing Alcadon in Norway. We also see the need to develop our portfolio in a careful manner. We have a strong focus on identifying gaps and opportunities, gaps which make sense for our customers and for Alcadon as well. We shall continue to develop the portfolio towards the data center segment. Not only does it make sense from a Norwegian perspective, but it also makes great sense since our group is constantly acquiring more and more information about this area. And it's also, in Norway, a growing market. Going forward, we will continue to foresee changes in our customers' bases and needs, focus on product information, one-stop shop mentality, accessories, etc. It will, of course, be work in progress, towards excellence. Further improvements will also be made to make it more easier for our customers to find us and for us to start the customer journey along with them. Towards 2025, we will maintain our focused course. We'll make additions to our product portfolio, increasing speed and momentum. Not only are we looking to increase our turnover with existing customer, but also address new segments, and also the customers who buy little or know nothing from us. So, thank you for listening, and I would like to give the floor to my colleague Sjoeke, who will inform you a little bit about Benelux.
Thank you, Einar, for showing us the ingredients to successfully expand the position of Alcadon in Norway. I must say, coming from a small country like the Netherlands, it's pretty impressive to see how well advanced Norway is in for instance, a fiber to the home deployment. At the same time, I also realized and experienced that size is not the only thing that matters. It's also about having the right ingredients in place, which is what I would like to tell you about in the coming minutes. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Sjoeke Kooistra. I'm within Alcadon responsible for sales in Benelux. I'm also involved in the larger accounts in the German market. I have a background of over 25 years in the telecoms world, of which the past 10 years in an international environment with a special focus on Germany. If I would have to describe myself in one word, I would say passionate. Passionate about engaging with customers and trying to understand their needs. Passionate about creating a team of colleagues to translate those needs into solutions and to deliver the right service. I'm passionate about creating long-term relationships with those customers. Let me illustrate that with an example. In 2014, I learned that there was this startup company aiming for the fiber to the home market in Germany. Through my existing contacts, I managed to get a meeting with them and understood their requirements and needs. They needed a connection box to terminate the fiber network in each house. So I took those requirements back and formed a team with my colleagues to develop a solution partly based on existing products. We presented that to this startup company and they gladly accepted. And up until the day of today, each and every house is still connected with that small connection box. By the way, in the meantime, that operator that startup has grown to be one of the larger fiber to the home operators in the German market. Now that same passion I experienced with my colleagues in Alcadon since I joined 1.5 years ago. In fact, I would say that passion is an added value. In addition to the values that Finn has already presented, competent, solution-oriented, and trustworthy. And to me, those are really important ingredients for further success and to leverage on our position in Benelux. Today, Benelux, we are a rather young company. We started about 1.5 years ago when 66 International was acquired in Belgium, and even more recently when the colleagues from Network Center joined the Alcadon Group with its operations in the Netherlands. A joint turnover is around 7 million. Here you only see the turnover of the Belgian part, but in joint we are about 7 million. And if you would divide that over the different segments, you can clearly see the focus segments of Alcadon, being structured cabling and data centers. Whereas fiber to the home is still rather small, but being the runner-up. After the acquisition of 66 International 1.5 years ago, 6 people came on board with a really strong background in structured cabling. They managed to engage with customers for over 30 years, having long-lasting relationships. Whereas in the Netherlands, we got a team of 4 people on board with a very strong focus and background in the data center segment.
Also here in the past 1.5 years, they managed to have very nice projects in this segment. Actually, those are very important ingredients for further leverage of our position. So what we are doing right now is we are merging our go-to-market strategies, where we make use of the existing competences in the Belgian team on the structured cabling part, and where we use the background of the Dutch team in the data center segment, and where we can learn from each other. Of course, we will also expand our product portfolio, and making use of the building blocks. For instance, we have in the Alcadon group in Sweden on structured cabling, and also using what we have available in other parts of our group. We're expanding our sales capacity right now because we see that we need more sales capacity to pursue all the opportunities there are in the market. So we have a clear focus on that data center segment with our Dutch colleagues, and on the structured cabling with our Belgian colleagues, and mixing that to vice versa, be more successful in the different markets. And we are now focusing on the large fiber to the home accounts, as we see that that's a very potential market, where we make use of the fact that we are a one-stop shop. And when talking to those large fiber to the home accounts, we see that positioning is getting traction. And at the same time, what also Susanna has explained, our ability to assemble and pre-assemble products. Also in the Belgian and the Dutch market, we see that there's a lack of capacity of hands. So you need time-saving solutions. And pre-assembled solutions really help to get positive reactions from the large fiber to the home accounts. So the market in general in the Benelux is a growing market. We see two main drivers for that growth. On one hand, we see that companies are establishing themselves in the Benelux partly due to Brexit, which has a positive effect on the demand for bandwidth and the demand for cabling. And we see also an increased use of connected smart devices, which also has its positive effect on the need for cabling, both copper and fiber. I don't think I say anything new when structured cabling had its difficulties over the pandemic situation, but it's coming back. We see new investments in construction, especially in the health sector and in the commercial building sector. And I heard lately one saying that when a new building is being developed and designed, they rather start with the cabling part, being the energy cabling and the data cabling, and plan the walls around it than the other way around, what they did in the past. So we expect here a growth of 5 to 7% a year. Data center investments are really growing in the Benelux market. This does not only count for the large international data centers that you might find in Amsterdam or in Brussels, but also for the local ones, where traditionally our competences are as Alcadon. We also see that many companies are in need for data center capacity, and they are looking for that in their vicinity, so really locally. Fiber to the home deployment is really ramping up. We see lots of investments. There's a lot of capital available from pension fund and from large capital group. They tend to form joint ventures with existing operators and to start up the deployment. In the Netherlands, we see a focus shifting from rural areas to larger cities. And that focus means also that you have high-rise buildings, which leads to new challenges. And here we can use our competence also in pre-assembled solutions. In Belgium, we can say that they have almost started from scratch last year, starting with the deployment of fiber to the home. Therefore, Belgium is one of the fastest growers in the European market. Of course, we are not the only ones in the market. We have some competition. In most of our markets, we see that the competition is rather fragmented. several distributors and resellers and also wholesalers being active in structured cabling in the data center segment. In the Dutch fiber to the home market, we call them system integrators. Well, we have several available. The Belgian market might be a bit more special with an almost monopolistic situation in the fiber to the home market. However, we think that we are well positioned and have the right competences and ingredients available to gain position and traction there. So what we will do going forward, we will mix all those ingredients that we talked about to align ourselves between the Dutch and the Belgian organization. We will strengthen our data center focus and using the competences of Network Center. We will expand our structured cabling portfolio by using what we have available in the group. And we will focus on those large fiber to the home projects and accounts. By 2025, we will have the full geographical coverage with passionate people that have the right cultural fit, that speak the right language to each customer. We have comprehensive data center offering. We know that we have the strong fiber to the home presence, and we are significantly stronger in structured cabling.